So I knew it will be a company. I found the information. They didn't like it, did they? Head of compliance, right? To access Beyoncé's own images, GDPR, their own Word document they made. Right, it's a limited company. So I did a counterclaim back. I cannot use their own document, so resent this twice because your details be forwarded. My call yesterday triggered off the police to come around yesterday. Came in just to make sure you're right. Yeah, no. I made inquiries, had a gut feeling. Point is, quite a long email. Notice the principals, notice to agent, notice the principal, condition acceptance offer, counterclaim offer. Managing director is a alleged Freemason, German ascent. Staffen something as agent for the Mercur Casino. Camera's crap on this phone. Anyway, the head office, the company number is 08179391. Did you know they are all set up as business corporations? A venue in my area, UK, where the bag got stolen, casino, and I was there Wednesday evening, on the late Wednesday evening, which was the actual, I've got to make sure the date actually. They're MK Ultra me all day with trying to do an email. All bloody day again. Yeah, the 12th. I don't know if I put the 13th in the mouth. No, we did put the correct date. From the 12th of the 1st, 2022, 11:30 p.m. to the date of Thursday, the 13th, 2022, from 12 a.m. And the time I left with PC 944, male, tall, black hair, tall male, and a blonde female. And I careful how I worded it. After the area employee agent called the Crime Commissioners Limited Company and the Hampshire Police Rights Department dispatch of the call of 999 Rights Call Centre, which was reported by their own in-house employee, Cash Casino Venue, and as he is a witness to another two females present. Due to the theft of the stolen of the bag and private belongings, I had required if the officers had yet visited your company area venue and to get the CCTV footage. And that was yesterday's call about, you see. And as they didn't like it for me to go in there, did they? I'd informed also reference to your head office, were you aware of what happened? And they weren't, by the way. And that was yesterday's date. I informed that this had not taken place yet. And so, by the way, that happened on the Thursday. They had 2.5 days to go and look at the footage. Yeah, so comments I got recorded yesterday, then cold calling at my door without my consent, without a phone call first, 8 p.m. last night. Yeah, right. Your agent emailed today, 2:30, the company Word document, unfortunately unable to use. Therefore, the only documents I do have to assist your requirement is below. I'd only, due to the fact that my private documents and paperwork was stolen out, that's the whole bag, within the bag, and I made it clear the points through which documents was I included. They can't deny you've assisted the best you can in the circumstances. No way in the email I had was mentioning about sorry for the theft or what happened to you. Nothing. See? And you would have thought, but no. I stated point 3 that due to I'm physically disabled, use a wheelchair full time because they set up a charity for young people with physical disabilities also. So that's why I've highlighted that, because it's genuine. I do not have an offer of photo ID. I don't drive. I don't use a pub. I don't have a passport. Excuse me. And also, I stated the fact that all the documents and phones and cash, everything is costly and that I'm able to pay, replace. And so I also thanked them about the employee guy in there called Petro, who came quite quickly to my aid to assist me. I won't go into much about what really happened. And I just said he's very helpful to assist. And then the police took the matter forward, and yeah, so I just made a brief comments about that. And the police had to break my door to get in because my bag got stolen with my door keys. I've emphasised that fact. With regards, without prejudice, buying what I'm known by, as authorised agent representatives for the uppercase birth certificate letter, UCC1-308, it got sent to us because they trying to get the joinder and making assumptions that I am that birth certificate name. Study law, contract law, common law, trust law. Even though I know this stuff, they still will try it on. I did also find the way they worded their document was deliberate, right? Don't think I can't fill in paperwork and documents lawfully and correctly, right? So they're thinking, what? Proof of identity. No. When you look at the statute law, the clauses within Data Protection Act 1998, okay, and the GDPR, and the what is acceptable documentation when you don't have photo ID, and this is everything that's changing these days, isn't it? Now they're trying to imply or a third party acting on behalf of the data subject. Nobody needs that for my file, thank you. Their own worded document. They know it monitoring. So then I found, and read myself back to that document, what I found 2019. The Ministry of Justice Limited Companies all behind this set me up for years of housing as well. So, London, Women Against Rape, Crossroads Women's Centre, a woman called Claire as well. So June it started 2019 when the local healthcare ombudsman limited company in Coventry, UK's report come out that date, roughly that same date, because the local public servants called Susan, her comments about my private life on 10th of March 2019 was discredited me totally. I've still got that email. And that's who's behind set me up as well. They all work together now, 2020. They want to be moved out of this flat. This has always been about housing and demonic entities, the lost souls. Well, they're not lost souls, they're demonic entities and souls of men and women behind this demonic Illuminati, freemasonry, bigger picture to target innocent individuals. So I made adjustments to this email. Here, the gaslighting now, noise campaign outside. So basically, the comments, they wouldn't help me in London. So I had to work all this out myself. 2019, 2020, 2021, and I did my 40-bot affidavit. Now I've got to work on those paperwork all night. Again, affidavit. See below the affidavit originally sent because I'm making up lies. So yeah, back 2011, previous companies, well, years before that, but even more so, in England, Ministry of Justice is a limited company, head office in London, and they use statute law. So I all my responses since I went over, I got ill with all that. By end of the year, 2009, 2010, 2011 is when they implied I was required to travel to London. I had no idea about UK policies. If you take an offer benefit, if it goes over £6,000 and you're offered compensation for something's happened to you, from injuries, offer payment, then that does affect everything. Nobody even bothered to inform me years ago until I started researching the Social Security Act 1977 Statute Act. Its Department and Recovery Unit. I'm fully able to research. It's nothing to do with about what I sent. Affidavits have been ignored. The documents affidavits with that sent finally back in March last year. 8 months delay again, nobody contacts me and resets it all up again, trying to use the mental health card again. So all this robbery, all this stuff's been going on beginning of this year on top again. It's all to do with using, in England it's known, their courts and tribunal service, social chamber, their bar association members, Freemasons, alleged Freemasons, and their agents had deliberately started off with 4th of May 2011. They ignored all my responses to that I couldn't travel to London and my physical reduction of my health. So from that year up until 2015, it took 5 years and no one contacted me. Out of the blue, an agent of the Crew Injuries Compensation Limited in 2019 had reopened the case. That's because the local healthcare public servants in public funded company work in conjunction with this national housing company, local agents, employees were working together and hoped I would have been moved out and forced me into a private run care home setting, right? But I got this report and I do not need to provide it, yeah? But I've done this email because I remembered I'll cover my tracks. The case of breach of a duty of care in England, social workers, HCP, the case of breach of a duty of care, malpractice, in public office got confirmed on 17th of April 2019. That's why they reopened the civil matter. That's why they wanted to discredit me. But the National Health and Social Care Ombudsman Services Limited, doesn't matter what I sent, they've ignored it, and that's why they attacked my character, my situation to date. I did a full rebuttal of the presumptions for many months, and they've ignored it all. Dismissed by the CICA Limited, HM Courts Tribunal Department, Social Chamber Department, on behalf of Community Justice Limited Company, and their clerk guy called Ford Frank. He contacted local public servants without my consent, breached the GDPR. And then they implied to get this guy called David up in Manchester area office to imply to travel to Manchester and dismiss my response, correct response, very coherent, very clear and precise, but now there has been taking the P for 2 years to say they can't read my writing, it's not comprehensible, the big words they're using, concerned about vulnerability, concerned about whether she understands and comprehends with their process. Really? I've done all this myself? And then they contact civil servants in the very company that ceased to exist since the 4th of April 2021 and have provided the company house documents to prove that they do not exist as contract offer. The vets to re-traumatise me clearly was created deliberately. So I'd required to strike out the matter, their civil assumption claim. It's just a civil matter. You don't keep a civil matter open from that period, 5 years. Then you count the years from 2019, 20, 21, 22. So it's 9, 10, 11, 12 years keeping the case open, civil matter. They're hoping that they can stitch me up again. with recent events, what's happened. My response, it shows, as I said, 11th of 9th, 2019, the decision was not even looked at the breach of the best practice direction policies. This is all victims of crime of a serious nature on top. Why do you think? I don't trust those locally. And that's a breach in statute law, quote, Equality Act 2010. And his behaviour, these key individuals' behaviour contact, right, before, but mainly I also put down, 9 years, then add on from that date to date. How many years is that? This was originally done of the date of 21st of 10th, 2019. And they're making up about my capacity to make decisions. Their policy, DWP, in limited company UK, a recovery unit policy, I found out and sent it all off again, beginning of last year, and they've ignored it all. So, the Criminal Injuries Compensation, CICA Limited, head office is in Glasgow in Scotland, UK. So, who's causing the problems? Not me. So, I found that by chance today in my drive document. I thought I forgot I had. So, Home Group Limited Company, I found the diary of that, the code. The 1st of the 8th, 2019. I mean, I can't. I was looking for the original documents I had drawn up. I can't detailed everything what was going on in May and June 2019. My emails and letters, and 16th of the 9th, 2019. A notice of default rebuttal of libel and standard comments on private life information by Frank, and the claim he contacted my area adult social services limited company, and that was in July 2019. They wanted me out of this flat of August 2019, and then we had all the lockdowns, and I'm finding certain things out happened to save people in the outbreak because of that. My notice of demand was sent for saying I hadn't been engaged with these people. Any offers of goods and services and contract law, public or private, is a contract. My letters notice of fault saying two public servants, civil servants, still no response. CEO had a copy. And then the 11th of 11th, 2019, conditional acceptance of my full rebuttal to follow. I did all that. Put the case reference number in. A local government healthcare ombudsman quoted about their report. They took no notice of that. Any offer of goods and services, NHS England Limited Company, commission funding, NHS commission groups in every town and city UK, how it works. They deliberately didn't service my medical equipment in my home. That should have been due. 2020. All of my emails and my letters by post to that company and its agents deliberately blocked these resurfacing to my medical equipment to make up that I can't handle my affairs in that regard too. And all they wanted was to get an occupational therapy OT assessment upon me. I don't need to take that offer up. And it's all to displace me at my home. I sought clarification of my housing record to see what was on it and to correct the mismanagement. And reference to any terms and conditions one may have, they need your consent to be take off of goods and services. So when I got failed years ago by that very company pushed upon me, and I declined their offer by 2014, and I had my private life arrangements on top, that's when they just went to town unlawfully. Assumptions using more so than ever NHS Foundation Trust LLP company A commission funded, quite clearly states what that is, how it's done. All these assumptions made up about me. 31st July 2017, unknown individual called Jane in her job role in May, June, July, August 2019. That's how it's all led for them to use the National Ministry of Justice Limited Company agents to discredit me. And they use, first of all, this guy called David, who failed in duty of care, despite being the survivor of the horrific tort crime 2002 and more to date. And I quoted, they reopened the matter, not me. And why didn't they say that if you take a lump sum of the statute law regulation 2008, there's implications to repay everything from the date of 2002, the crime. Backdated from today's date, say, I owe them more than 14,900, and I'll be left without anything. So I worked all this out, but they never stopped, constantly making assumptions my physical, psychological health. Yeah, adult social care is all about adult safeguarding. It's all about looking at LGS's law limited to put aid to private liberty and to make such assumptions. We believe that she's not capable of looking after her own affairs, and we need to get in there and take over. It's all null and void. Any offers of contracts originally on the 1st of the 6th, 2018 has been all null and void. And that's where all my medical notes was breached, medical data of private life. So all those previous meetings during that year my mum had died, they didn't care. All they wanted me on my own. You see, all those years prior, 2012, 2013, 14, breaching my health and safety of my own by their public servants called carers. And I had evidence as well, diaries evidence. Then the previous history of the years, I acquired all my data, you see. In 2008, 2011, I won my case originally. What happened to me, bad malpractice. Then, in 2018, 2011, the Ombudsman upheld my complaint. NCC Limited Public Servants Employees. But by June 2012, to get back at me, they implied that private limited company carers, adult healthcare, gone bust. And I didn't know what my rights were then. And they claimed, I need to go into a temporary respite place. It weren't, it was hell. I was there deliberately. This caused further harm, mental abuse, cuts in times, hours, evidence. And if I'd been there longer than 4 to 5 weeks, I would have lost the access to what I need to live on. And so, yeah, this is why they've been on my case for a long time. So, as I said, it doesn't matter how many rebuttals I've made, affidavits and statements. This is all links back to why they blocked my repairs to my home and the floor, the wet room, because I negotiated being a hotel, half paid for, I pay half, they pay half, and they can look at what my needs are. I mentioned about the company called Millbrook Healthcare Limited, and those all cutbacks, wheelchair services. I'm not going to be here too long. All their data they held on target individuals are being manipulated as well. I'm required to offer assistance in any offer OT assessment, independent access, not in my own home, because they failed at health and safety, they failed to repair it. And they won't. So this is the ultimate card, isn't it? So to get the, so upper clerk in London, I've got details of that matter in May 2011. All my letters have got details here. I did send 2013. I've got all the dates. Gosh, I don't know why I kept all this paperwork. So, effects of 13/12/2002. All these years to date. It's always been about ultimate. Using all of this ultimate major pride GOL. I am able to make independent choices of my own decisions and weigh up and the process that they use to imply the need to assess my ability to make a decision. It's basically from the 4th of August 2017, they lied to me, the housing. We can work around you. You don't need to move out. And then it all suddenly changed out the blue in September 2017 when I suddenly had a heart attack and stroke because of the stress. And that's when I first had the door broken into. And it took them forever to get the door replacement during the winter. And so it all happened again, didn't it, recently? So, all these care plans, 2012, my experiences, oh my gosh, key public servants, they never, ever was about choice control. You wouldn't believe half the things that took place on my own. So, the former CEO, now she is Catherine. It's now Agenda 2030, already in place, Smart City. 2022 plus is all a long history of abuses. Physical, psychological, you name it's been going on for years. And all this on top. So, Commission Services, Northamptonshire Evidence Foundation Trust, LLP. I sought clarification, but they're all working together. That rainbow colour of the arch, where it says together, is all about hub, data mining together. Anyway, I can't go into that email because it's too long. So, no matter before, when I got theft on my late month's brooch, let's see the date. Got a photo, got to see, I've got a date on this. And my son basically didn't care what happened to me. And then my daughter was setting my son up. I didn't realise I kept eyeing it in hospital in 2018. My sister lied to me. I've got all these photos of the district repair on my own. Yeah, so, 2018, my sister started. They got to all my family members. They got two other other people that were meant to be helping me 2018 too. Right, I found the policy, and I think it's all changed again, where Health and Care Professionals Council, which all these men and women in their job role, whatever title they have in England, has to sign up every year to keep working in their job role, if they still are. Yeah, social workers, occupational therapists, and there's been loads of breaches I've sustained. Could all again be changed, but that is In England, that's what they're called. So, I forgot I had all these documents. Yeah, they get to people quickly, don't they? Target program. So it ties in with the date when my disability benefits were being set up and being targeted in May 2019 too. They stopped my income, didn't they? That's all premeditated, and they keep trying all this on again. Happy Davy of rebuttal. I couldn't do as much as some people are able to, but I did what I could. Basic principles of contract law. Implied terms, consideration of the offer, contractual intention. I haven't been able to respond to their recent setups. Obligations. Common law, there are three elements. But because of the theft, they're treating it in statute law as a criminal. They're not going to find anyone. Intention is like with the police. What's your name? What's your date of birth? That's a joinder. An offer to help me get home. That's not a contract. I didn't ask them to come around last night. They took it on their own accord to do that. By calling that 999, I didn't call them. Of the theft of my bag. That individual working that private company building did. Consideration. I didn't ask them to break in my door. Contractual intention agreement. If support, you see, there's some full disclosure by public servants, public funded companies. You see, they make the assumption the rule is that contracts may be made informally as well. Most contracts can be orally, in some cases, written communication. You have to be careful and know what you're written about, writes about. Express terms. To get me to do a statement and put in my, signing under duress by force and cohesion is V.C. Need to learn how to do that when you're in, find what I'm going through, maybe. Terms implied in law by statute. A breach of contract is what the housing companies, others have been doing to me with their agents. Failure or refusal to perform. Failure or refusal to perform. Contractual. Promise when performance have failed due to privacies, a breach. I've not breached a contract with ICA Limited. It's all about commerce, business, finance. And the refusal to perform, showing the party is unwilling, even though they may be able to perform. No, there's never been a lawful full disclosure contract, terms and conditions. Accept the breach. So this is what the CICA Limited is all about, is only assumption that I breached a contract where there wasn't one in the full disclosure in the first place. Misrepresentation, a false statement of fact made by one party to another, and that's what it's all about. Was not a term of a contract, indicates the other party enter into the contract, and a actionable misrepresentation must be a false statement of fact, and that's what it's about. Not of an opinion, a future intention in law. Silence does not normally amount to misrepresentation. However, the representator must not misleadingly tell another part of the truth which they have done and lied. Thus, a statement that does not present the whole truth may be misrepresentation. See? Misrepresentation. The fraudulently and knowingly, without belief, is the truth or recklessly. The negligence made by that individual and had no reasonable grounds to believe it. It's quite a long book. So I'm just trying to see where I've saved this affidavit, and I've been looking for quite a while the other day and I couldn't find it. Anyway, I've got to stop doing this and bit of context of victims and support, you see. Victims and witnesses support. No matter what I do, being sat on gaslighted all the time. Doing one thing after another. I've got to move because they're talking to me when I'm trying to sort of look at this and do this. Do you want to see what my doors looked like in 2017 before? That's how it's like in 2017. So it's like a reliving that all over again. It took me 6 months to get that repaired. The old door, exactly the same. They broke it then, the police. Same location. This is what they damaged before. We picked the same wood. Same area, the airlock. 2017. This is before I knew it was a target individual. It's the same. Exactly the same where they broke it recently, and that's what they did in 2017, the police then, to get the ambulance crew when I had the heart attack and stroke. They broke it in the same place of the new door. Nobody would help me see. Right, nobody. They all blocked me. Oh, you want to investigate who she is, what she used to be like. Go and find out who her connections are. So I'm saying about that. Yeah. And you want to go investigate how she was in her job since 2018. And now she's got her own private clinic set up. 20, look, practicing in that area. Cabinet member of social care. No wonder I got failed. That's why we desperately want to do anything for this. A lot of photos. And when my son came up during the lockdown, and my granddaughter, what date was that? Oh yeah, during the first lockdown, 2nd 6th 2020, why would my son travel during lockdown to visit me? Then his wife claimed, "Oh, wouldn't you be better moving a care home?" I can't show you that picture because the circumstances what's going on even more. I've saved all the documents. And I got abused when I ended up in care home. What year was that? Wednesday the 6th of the 9th, 2018. No, before my mum passed away. They just left me there without any support. I had a head injury. You wouldn't believe how they gaslighted me bad. When my late mum's brooch was stolen from me, I'd noticed the items I was given when she passed away was of a butterfly, a coyote butterfly. My mum never had a butterfly brooch. She'd never. That's my older brother. You get the colours, MK Ultra colours. I've always been on my own. 54th birthday, my son was never around. Any time I need support from him, he's never been around. He's never been about. Yeah, so there's clear policies on victims of crime. Never, ever. And then today he says he's a pert wife. Her sister died, no disrespect to those passed away. But, knows full well what the hell I'm going through. But then I saw him on the internet on his Twitter feed. I've had all my data. Being messed about with too. You wouldn't believe half the things that goes on.